Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Lionsgate Podcast with Sadi and Omni. I'm Omni.
And I'm Sadi.
And today's episode is all about the Symphony of Her. We're going to go in depth on the 7 female archetypes.
Yep, I'm really excited about this episode, by the way. I feel like it's something that has been resonating within me and working through me for my entire life. And having a name to put to the feeling, I think is really beautiful and powerful. And I hope everyone that's listening feels the same kind of energy that I'm feeling right now by the end of this episode, just empowered and more clarity on what it truly means to embody the divine feminine and all of her harmonies. And before we start, I just want to say this episode isn't just for women. Every single one of us, no matter what your gender is, identity, or the way you express yourself, carries the divine feminine inside. So whether you're a man listening, non-binary, trans, or anywhere on the spectrum of human experience, this symphony is yours too.
The Maiden is the first one we're going to cover. And yes, the Maiden is the young maiden girl, but you can go through a maiden phase later in your life more than once. Like these 7 archetypes come up in your life when you need them.
And I mean, when we think of the divine feminine energy as a whole divine consciousness, we cannot put a number on that.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 doesn't even compare to the many facets of who we are.
Right.
There's a plethora of different vibrations that it can hold. But I really love how it's broken down within these 7 easy to understand archetypes.
Yes.
The way that I started connecting with this energy is pretty powerful. I'm going to share a quick story, and then we'll jump into the Maiden first and the rest of the archetypes. The Symphony of Her really started with me making a promise to myself. I decided I was going to devote 6 weeks to my own healing and remembering who I was. It feels like before I was half in, half out, but I didn't dedicate a certain amount of time to my healing. I made a real vow to myself that no matter what was happening in my life, I would show up for myself every single day for 6 weeks. So rain or shine, good mood, bad mood, tired, emotional, busy, it didn't matter. I was going to show up. So I took one of the rooms in my house and I completely changed the energy of it. So I sort of made it into a temple, my classroom.
Yes.
And it was like my little mystery school in there. And I set it up like an initiation chamber. You know, I had my herbs and candles and spiritual tools all laid out in there with intention. I had my massage table, my yoga pads and all that stuff. So I basically programmed it to be a container to hold space for higher vibrational entities. And that was my main goal going in. So when I walk in this room, I'm going to go all the way in and shit's going to go down. I wasn't exactly 100% on what was going to happen within these 6 weeks, but I knew it was going to be life-changing and transformative for me. And I wanted to be brutally honest and open with my shadows and my patterns and my pain and my power, you know, that goddess and all of her complexity. Every day when I stepped into the room, it wasn't just a room. It felt like I was entering a divine university. Like I'm not in community college anymore.
Right.
So I was the student and I felt like an initiate. And the second I closed that door behind me, the atmosphere, I could feel it shift. And it was like I was stepping into a higher realm. And the very first thing that I did every day was open the window. So I love letting in the natural world, like fresh air and the sounds of the birds and the wind or the sun coming through or even the sound of rain if it was raining that day.
Right.
And then I'd move to my shrines and I would give gratitude and thanks to the statues and give offerings and a lot of gratitude to start that. And I thank my ancestors and I even thanked the room itself for holding space for me.
Yeah.
And I thanked myself for keeping the vow to show up every day. Every day was different. Whatever song or frequency that called me was my doorway into the lesson that I was going to be receiving for the day. Some days it was really sad.
Yeah.
Some days it was tribal and drum beats and primal. And sometimes it was really like heavy metal or deep trap rap or whatever. All of it felt like sacred medicine, though, through the vibration of music. And this does tie into the symphony. I would do breath work and meditation and movement and yoga, and my breath would open the portal. Once I was grounded, I would open up my heart and speak to the guides. I would say something like, whoever has come to teach me today, you're welcome here, and I'm listening. I could feel a presence walk in to the room or drop into the room, or however it came through the music. Some days Medusa would come through, Hecate, Bastet, Sekhmet, Isis, Inanna. Some of them would choose to stay with me for a few hours, and some of them would stay with me for a few days. So I never knew what was going to happen from one day to the next. And, you know, after that, the energies just started coming in one after another, day after day, different deities, goddesses, guides, ancestors. That's when I started to realize I wasn't just feeling them, I was hearing them as a vibration. So have you ever had your eyes closed in a dark room and somebody walks in, and you could have a whole house full of people and you know what they sound like when they walk into the room, even if they're not saying anything? You can feel them, you can sense them.
Yeah.
The way that they're passing through, you know, oh, that's my kid or my husband
My
or
daughter
my friend
walks
or
like an
whatever.
elephant.
Yeah. So you just know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about that. I felt it as a sound on like the inside of my own energy, like they were imprinting on me.
Okay.
So in the last days of my 6-week journey, all of my teachers showed up together. So every professor or guide that showed me the way, they all came to celebrate with me, and they all stepped in together. And I could hear each one of them individually. They all had their own vibe, their own notes.
Yeah.
And it was separate, and then I could hear them all together.
Like harmonizing.
And I literally felt like I was standing in the middle of the spiritual orchestra. Right? Every frequency weaving into the next, and every tone creating something bigger inside of me than I had ever felt before. It was almost like they were proud of me for doing this. And that's when it clicked. I was like, I'm not just one vibration. I am multidimensional, infinite, layered. I am a goddess being with my own signature tone. Like, where do I fit into this universe with everything that I've embodied in this last 6 weeks? And every woman has that. We're not just one archetype or one identity or one sound. We're infinite. And we're a symphony of her.
Yeah.
So when I came out of that, I just understood that the divine feminine in a way that I just never did before. She's a living, breathing, vibrating force that moves through a woman's entire life. Every phase that we go through and versions of ourselves that we step into are transforming us. Basically, it all carries a sound and a vibration that moves through the universe and leaves an imprint on everything around us. And our healing sends out waves like in the ocean. Our boundaries shift timelines. As we grow, so does the universe.
Yeah.
It's infinitely expanding forever and ever. So after that journey, I felt called to look deeper inside myself and really understand the structure of what I experienced. And so, of course, I started researching because I love rabbit holes. I found other spiritual teachers and mystics and psychiatrists, psychologists who have also tapped into the same field that I did. And some of them described feminine through 7 archetypes, which we're about to talk about. And that really resonated within me because it's 7 expressions of the divine feminine energy that appear across cultures, timelines, myths, and spiritual lineage. 7 frequencies a woman can embody and shift through and rise into, right? These 7 archetypes feel like the exact same tones that I had been hearing and feeling and letting move through me. Every woman carries these frequencies within them. And like I said before, I mean, there's more than 7. There's literally a plethora. But to generalize it, I think this fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Each one's a note, a chapter. Each one is a living energy that she rises into depending on where she is and what her soul is learning at the time. So I'm ready to get into this.
Yeah. So the first one on the list is the Maiden. The Maiden's in every Disney movie ever.
Yeah, like what?
Like Ariel, Belle and Beauty and the Beast, Rapunzel, Cinderella. Alice was even considered a maiden.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So like every Disney movie before Frozen, really, they're all maidens.
Yeah.
Because they have that archetype of being naive and soft.
So yeah, so for the first archetype in the Symphony of Her is the Maiden. And she's honestly one of my favorites to talk about because her energy is just fun.
The cheerleader.
Yeah, she's just fun. The Maiden sees the world with big eyes and an open heart. Like everything is brand new, even if you've lived through 1,000 lifetimes. She's the energy of, oh, what's that?
Curious creature.
Let me try it. And so she's really curious and spontaneous, and she's low-key hilarious without even trying.
Oh, she's talking about me, guys.
And yeah, you know, some people call this the baby witch era. And that cracks me up because some people embrace that term and some people absolutely hate it. And they'll fight you in the comments about it. But what matters is the frequency of it. So the Maiden learns through playing. She absorbs like a sponge and she grows by following her instincts. She doesn't really have maybe a lot of knowledge in a subject, but she wants to try.
Yeah.
So her energy to me feels like being spiritually barefoot. Like 10 years old, spiritually barefoot, connected and excited and ready to run towards something magical without overthinking it.
Yeah.
As we do as adults.
Oh,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Her presence doesn't depend on age. You can be 20 or 80 and still fall back into the Maiden over and over and over, like the Fool card. The Maiden is the part of you that isn't afraid to be a beginner again, to be a student.
Yeah.
That loves learning. You know, it's not like a Miss Know-It-all where I'm done with that. Like you just keep ever expanding and growing.
Yeah. Keep your minds open.
People loves learning, like laughs at synchronicities, like, oh my God, 1111 or it's 555. And you get excited about it. You know, you're not like, 555. Like, I wonder what that means. Is that a bad thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you crone. No.
You know, the one that plays with energy balls and really just isn't afraid to do anything. So her frequency in the Symphony of Her feels like that feeling you get inside your body right before you just die laughing.
Yeah.
The energy that builds inside of you, like something good is coming.
Yeah.
You just know it.
Feel it in your bones.
Yep. And it's the same feeling you had when you were 6 years old, right? And you're waking up on Christmas morning knowing that magic is waiting for you in the next room. I relate it to the feeling that you get on a snow day. And it's like you finally realize that school's canceled and the whole world just opened up for you to play.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you close your eyes, you can hear her. She does have a frequency. It almost sounds like a wind blowing through wind chimes. I feel that in the air energy. The sound of the universe singing your name and inviting you forward into something new, into something exciting. Every woman feels it when her spirit is saying yes. Oh my God, yes. Getting chills and you're just ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's why the Maiden is the first note in the Symphony of Her, because she's the sound of awakening, the vibration of possibility, like anything's possible, the frequency that tells your whole energetic system that something beautiful is about to happen. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Some of that innocence, you know?
I love that. Oh,
Thank you.
as beautiful as that is, I'm going to go over the light shadow and the dark shadow. So light shadow is more so things that we've all done. Even when we're healed, we slip into, nobody's perfect, you know? Dark shadow is like narcissistic tendencies that spawn out of being unhealed in this frequency.
Okay.
So the light shadow of the Maiden is you could be overly trusting, avoiding responsibility, giving up power, allowing others to define you, or looking for approval all the time, and difficulty with boundaries. And this kind of struck a chord with me, guys, because I just turned a new chapter in my life. I'm in my 40s now. And these are things I struggled with just a year or two ago.
Right.
It was kind of cool to see in this aspect to where we're always evolving and growing in like the waves. phase. We go down and up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, when you say the maiden, you think of a young, naive girl. But you can be naive and you have things to work on at any age.
Yeah. And you can be highly advanced. So you could be the crone in one aspect of your life and the maiden in another.
Exactly.
So we are infinite beings.
Yes.
So we can resonate with all different kinds of frequency. But the trick is getting them to all harmonize with each other.
Yeah. Now, if you go the opposite way from healing, a lot of times the dark shadow of the maiden is inner child wounds, fear of getting old. You get locked into fantasy. You're emotionally unavailable and you're rebellious, but rebellious without a choice. So like you don't have control of your emotions from that and you self-sabotage. When you do integrate the shadow self and you work on it and you work on the wounds, you turn into the dark maiden. And when the maiden integrates her darkness, she becomes powerful. She's a siren in training, teasing but still soft. She explores her sexuality, rebellion as a choice, and as a part of her own autonomy. She breaks away from those who try to define her, and she says, I will not stay small, so you feel comfortable.
Oh, yes.
You know that's something I've said.
Oh, my God. We all have.
We've all
I
said
bet everybody listening's like, yeah.
Yep. Because that's
felt
one
that
of my things I've worked on. Yeah. I won't tear myself to pieces so others won't choke. I want to be the light part of the maiden at 80, giggling and making silly jokes or being that light loving, curious creature. But you can't be that light maiden if you don't integrate your shadow and work on the wounds.
Exactly.
And some of the wounds for that is daddy issues stem from abandonment. People pleasing is a big one. Fear of rejection, staying in relationships too long, guilty, being used or underestimated in a relationship. So relationship naivety. And to heal that, you're reclaiming and defining boundaries. You're learning discernment. You have safety and self-trust. And knowing you are worthy without having to earn it. And there's a couple of goddesses that you can work with that help embody the maiden energy. Persephone, before she goes into the underworld, really,
Yes,
and I knew you were going to love that one. And then Lady Brigitte is the spring goddess. So she is maiden spring energy personified.
Yeah.
And I know you'd brought up the Fool card from tarot, and it's that new energy. It's that new beginning.
That leap of faith.
Yes.
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown. And then like some celebrities that really seem to embody this from our point of view is Zendaya. She's youthful but wise. Or Jenna Ortega. She actually embodies the dark maiden really well. She's soft, but she's rebellious as a choice. And then we were talking about characters. We already said it. Pretty much every Disney character before Frozen, they're all fair maidens. That naive, beautiful.
Snow White, Cinderella.
All of them.
So now I want to talk about the archetype 2, and it's the mother or the creatrix, if you want to call her that. So when we think about the mother, we think about mom or nurturing or any of the watered down versions like that. But what we're talking about today is the cosmic mother, the earth mother, the lioness, the creatrix. This is the archetype of woman who births things into existence. Not just kids, but entire timelines, identities, ideas, art, magic, healing, and even an entire new version of herself. Because we do that as divine feminine, we rebirth ourselves over and over and over again in our lifetime or lifetimes. This is the woman who literally creates worlds through her intention and through her devotion and her body and her energy. When this archetype rises through you, you can feel it. Yeah, she's undeniable that she's there. You'll feel yourself grounding. You'll feel a new level of strength growing inside of you that wasn't there before. And you'll start to move different and talk differently. You'll care different. You'll love yourself and other people around you differently than you did before. Usually this comes along around the childbearing age.
For me, the person I was before I became a mother was completely different than the person I was after I became a mother.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd be that person that's like, hit me with your car. You're going to ride my butt, hit me. I'll get
and then all of a sudden you have precious cargo in the back and you're like, please protect me.
Yeah, please don't hit me.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. And it's the part of you that will love something into existence. Also, moms have that other side of them. I'll burn this bitch to the ground if anything threatens what I'm building,
Oh, yeah.
what I'm creating inside of me, like that protective energy, right? And you can feel her. She is also, in all of its beauty, divine love. If you are a parent, if you are a mother, there is nothing else on this planet that you can love the way you love your child.
Agreed.
This is also true for your inner child, the child that you were, who you grew from. The mother is the one that will hold you and grow you and protect you and will rebuild herself if she has to in the process. So her energy is really earthy and grounding, and she's definitely Gaia level, but she's also cosmic and universal. She's star womb energy.
Yes.
At its highest vibration. And it's that feeling of being plugged into something ancient and powerful. And when the mother archetype activates within you, you start birthing things that aren't even about you anymore. It's almost like you go out of that maiden phase where everything is singular and it's about you.
Yeah.
Where you are reborn into this motherly archetype that you're doing things for the collective.
Yeah.
For your children, for the planet, for the universe. And that's the power of her. The mother, she's not always this soft, cuddly mom. She absolutely can be.
Yeah.
But she's also so much more than that, so multifaceted. She is source energy itself. And she's a portal of every soul that walks through this third dimension and onto this planet. You got to get through her first. We carry her inside of us by nature, and our cells, our womb, our breath, our intuition, and our timelines. So look at her forces. Just look into nature and you're going to feel Mother Earth. There's tornadoes spiraling with sacred geometry, hurricanes shaped like eyes. Look at lightning. It splits the sky like a cosmic heartbeat.
Yeah.
Volcanic eruptions, birthing new land by fire. Oh, and look at solar flares. Releasing sun codes from the sun and the ocean. The ocean is like pulling and pushing the moon's tides. That's Mother on Earth.
Yeah.
And then look up, look at the nebulae giving birth to stars and galaxies spiraling wombs in the void. Even black holes, they recycle entire universes. And stardust, we're made of that. Stardust reorganizes itself into planets and DNA and into us. We are that.
Yeah.
And that's Mother Nature in the cosmos. And she does. She's multidimensional too. So she's all of that. Plus, she moves across dimensions the way that a body moves through breath. In the third dimension, she births bodies and children and creations and all that. And in the fourth dimension, she births emotion and healing and intuition and empathy. And in the fifth dimension, she births timelines and visions and ascension. And in the sixth dimension, she births geometry, destiny, soul contract, sacred design. So it just keeps amplifying and leveling up. And beyond that, she births entire realities through sound, vibration, and pure consciousness. So she's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Like when you're embodying Mother, you're embodying everything that I just said. She can be as forceful as a supernova or as soft as a blade of grass pushing up from a seed with nothing but sunlight and faith. So something so small to something so huge and everything in between. So she's the woman that can hold a child in one arm and her entire destiny in the other one. She creates worlds with her love and clears timelines. And she's the second note of the symphony of her. I was imagining myself laying in a field of wildflowers, and the sun was on my face and the breeze was going by, and I could smell the ocean stretching out in the distance endlessly and pulsing like the heartbeat of the world of Mother Gaia. You can close your eyes too if you're listening, unless you're driving. Unless you're driving, don't fucking close your eyes. Hear everything that's going on around you when you close your eyes and imagine yourself there. Her sound begins in the earth under your feet, under your body, and it rises up your legs and through your spine. And you can feel her in the flowers that are swaying around you. And each single petal is vibrating with its own tiny little notes. And their colors making a kind of sound as well. Your ears don't really hear it, but your energy feels it. She's in the wind. I could imagine it wrapping around my shoulders like a blanket. And it feels like a mom pulling you close into her and brushing your hair behind your ear. And then it starts to rain. And she's in the rain, that emotional energy. It starts tapping your eyelashes like little butterfly kisses. And she's in the sound of the ocean, that deep inhale and exhale that she's been breathing since the beginning of time. You know, the tiny little buzz of a bee flying by, carrying messages from flower to flower, like a little miniature priestess, you know, like, I'm gonna get this nectar. She's in the shifting of the grass as you walk through, touching your ankles and the sound of the wind and the trees. So her sound isn't one thing.
Yeah.
It's all of it. It's the ocean, the wind, the rain, the bees, the grass, the flowers, the earth, the cosmos. And she vibrates through every single one of your senses.
Right.
Sight, sound, touch, breath, intuition. And when you focus on her vibration, you realize that the world is alive around you and within you.
Feel connected.
Yeah, that's mother for me. That's her vibration and the sound of life itself saying, I'm everywhere.
Yeah. The light shadow of the mother is overgiving because she wants to be needed, putting everyone first and herself last, feeling guilty when she rests, attracted to emotionally unavailable people, struggles to receive compliments or support. I think I've fallen under every single one of these categories.
Oh, yeah. I used to be really bad when people would give me compliments. I would be like, no.
I'd say Merry Christmas because I didn't know what to say.
I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah.
It would kind of freak me out when people gave me compliments.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're such a good mom, or you're so pretty. And then I would just be like, no, but thank you. I would always say no.
Yeah.
Which I was rejecting that.
Yeah.
And then I would say, but thank you. And it would almost embarrassed me.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was going through that cycle. Now it's like, give me a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, I love words of affirmation. I'm going to own every single compliment
Yep.
and reject anything that's negative. Because
Exactly.
the way you feel about me, if it isn't positive, that's your problem, not mine.
Exactly.
I know who the fuck I am.
Yes. See, that's how you know you've healed from those wounds. You integrated that shadow back into yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And part of that is feeling responsible for other people's emotions too. And that's another thing. Been through that cycle, been there.
Yeah.
More darker shadow stuff is smothering for control, using guilt as power. I keep thinking Mother Dearest, the movie, you know, where the mom's like super controlling.
Was it Mommy Dearest?
Or yeah, Mommy Dearest, that's the one. Need to be needed for validation, control to avoid abandonment. It could be rage that builds. It could be burnout that turns into emotional numbness. I've been there.
Yep.
Completely numb. When you integrate these things back into yourself and you become the dark mother, you're ending generational cycles. You're taking no disrespect. You feel the rage, but it's a feeling of holiness. It protects the vulnerable inside of you and uses destruction as a path to rebirth.
I think of Kali. Hecate, because she's very much of a divine dark mother in her power.
Yeah.
And the highest vibration of that dark feminine.
Yeah. And for the lighter side of it, I got Demeter, which is the goddess of harvest, or Hathor, which is joy and nurturing. But the number one is Gaia.
Yeah. And I think of Medusa too.
Ooh, yeah.
Because she's so powerful. And she's the one that'll be like, look in the mirror. Look at what you've done to yourself. Look at where you've abandoned yourself and make you cry and shake. She's not sugarcoating anything, but there's so many gifts within that relationship of just being like, I see what I've done to myself. I'm sorry to yourself. And then just integrating that and being like, I'll never do that to you again. So you're almost mothering yourself through the divine archetype of some of these dark goddesses.
Yes. Some of the wounds that somebody might carry in this archetype in the dark shadow part of it is betrayal wounds, abandonment, misuses of power, like learning power to harm.
Oh, yeah. I think of a bitchy ass boss.
Yep.
You know, like this woman who's in a pantsuit. She's in a power trip and she's in a role of power, but she's abusing it.
Yeah. Rage that never dies down because you weren't able to express it.
So you're just always on guard.
Healing part of that would be learning the difference between rage and reaction. Anger becomes clarity, rage becomes protection, and fire becomes direction. Unlearning hyper independence, guilty. You can receive care, rest, and even ask for help, and that allows softness. Rebuilding trust slowly, letting good people in, letting people earn trust, requiring consistency instead of perfection, and then letting go of control, which surrender doesn't mean weakness. Boundaries protect more than control. Relationships grow with space.
Oh, I love that part. Relationships really do grow with space.
There's a couple of celebs that I would say embody this. Michelle Obama is one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Adele would be that. I feel like she's very nurturing. She's very protective over her son. She's talked about interviews if you're a fan of Adele. And then Michelle Obama being strong and confident and leading characters in movies. Forrest Gump's mom. Everybody thought of him as a lost cause, and she did not at all.
No.
That's a mama right there.
Yeah.
Or Morticia Adams. Even though she's kind of like demented, but it was all love.
Right. So the next one is Archetype 3, and she is the warrior, or some people call her the Huntress.
Wow.
Right? So she's the third archetype in the Symphony of Her, and she's the warrior goddess. I imagine her as this fierce lioness that doesn't come out every single day. I mean, usually you don't spend your life in that vibration. And if you do, I don't know if that's 100% healthy.
Yeah. I was like,
but do what thou wilt. But when she does come out, she comes out swinging like Tiger Woods' wife. Okay. Like the supreme multifaceted lioness. She's the archetype that moves through you when your soul needs protection, clarity, courage, or a full-blown, I wish a motherfucker would moment. Right? She doesn't live on the surface of you. She lives deep inside. Layers and layers are on top of her. And she usually only steps forward when the situation calls for a woman who is literally done playing. Like, I'm done. So it's like, okay, you want to play games? Let's see what happens if I switch it to 2 players real quick. See how you like it. Because you want to play? Let's play.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not about matching energy, but this is that frequency.
Yeah.
And every once in a while it's called for.
Yeah.
So she's the one that calls on her ancestors and summons her entire feminine bloodline. And she's the one who feels generations standing on the battlefield with her the second she needs strength, right? They're ready to go. They're like, when you take a step, we're taking a step with you.
Yeah.
Like, I got you, you got us. We're in this together. When she enters, it feels to me like tribal drums, just echoing in the distance. And here she comes, keeps getting louder and louder and louder. And you can feel it in your chest. Your own heart starts beating. Your blood feels like it's warming up and turning into hot lava. It even makes your whole posture change almost instantly. You feel her coming out and your body movement changes. Imagine taking off your earrings and your whole body stands up a little bit taller, like, let's go. You're bowing up before you even realize what's happening. And she's really primal and instinctive. She's the woman who moves like she's guided because she literally is. Yeah. So when the warrior or the lioness rises up inside of you, it's usually when you're done tolerating whatever it is that you're going through.
Right.
She's a version of you that grabs life by the throat and says, I'm going to get one thing straight with you. It's either you or me, and I'm choosing me. One of us is not going to survive this.
Yeah.
And so the Huntress is part of her. It's that wild, ancient, laser focused. I always imagine Sekhmet. Sekhmet is a lion goddess deity from Egypt, and I've worked a lot with her, so she always comes to my mind. And she follows her intuition the way a predator follows footprints. She's a tracker, and it's not out of aggression, but out of precision.
Yeah.
She protects your peace, your dreams, your babies, your soul mission, and your future. She shows up during things like breakups, rebirths, during trauma, when you're healing, career changes, and moments of divine clarity, where you're just like, something clicks inside your brain and you're like, why didn't I see this before? And everything just gets crystal clear and you cannot unsee it. Like, once you see it through this lens, you can't unsee it ever again. You might stay in the situation, but you're going to be looking around like, damn, why am I even here?
Yeah.
And it's during the times that you absolutely 100% refuse to betray yourself ever again. You're that done.
Yeah.
And her presence is unmistakable. It means your no actually means no, but you're not just playing around with it. You say no, and that's a full sentence.
Yeah.
Period. And suddenly you feel your grandmother and your great-grandmother breathing through you. And you think about how many powerful women had to come before you in order for you to exist right now. How many? Thousands? I don't know. And out of those thousands, how many gave birth with no drugs, no epidurals, in foreign countries or on mud floors in jungles or deserts, ships, battlefields?
Yeah.
All of them are still in your DNA.
Yep.
You come from such a long line of powerful women. They're in your DNA. And the fire of every single one of those ancestors who survived long enough for you to get here, for you to be breathing this air right now and listening to the sound of my voice. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of power laying dormant in your blood, all you have to do is activate it and call on it, and you never have to fear another thing as long as you live. I feel like she's a mix of war paint and prayer beads.
Throat singing.
Tantric dancing and just wild, unapologetically brave and strong and powerful. What people don't always understand is that warrior, she's not angry. She's not angry or bitter. A lot of people might try to put her in that box because
of fear
or not understanding where this is coming from. Like, oh my God, you're fucking powerful. You have a backbone. Oh, you're not letting me take advantage of you anymore. Where is that coming from? You must be going through something. You must be very angry, or whatever. And I fucking hate it when people tell me I'm angry. And I'm like, I'm not mad.
No.
Like, I'm expressing myself how I express myself. No. Yeah, I just said no. Period. No. But at the core of her is actually pure devotion. She loves so hard and so honestly that she's at the point where she's refusing to let anything threaten what matters to her soul. And she doesn't fight because she wants conflicts. She fights and she refuses to abandon the parts of her that deserve to be protected because she wasn't coming into that energy before. So she wasn't protecting herself, and she just kept getting beat down over and over by the world, by existence. She starts to remember all the times that she kept quiet. And she couldn't use her voice. And the times that she tolerated way too much for way too long. Basically settled just to make other people comfortable.
Yeah.
And we've all been there.
Yep.
When the Huntress rises, she rises all of that memory and emotion behind her. Every single tear that she didn't cry, every truth she swallowed, and every boundary that she needed to set years ago. And she's not coming from pain necessarily, even though part of that is. Yeah. She's more coming from clarity. She knows what she loves, what she stands for, and she knows what she won't accept anymore. Her emotional field is really focused and intentional, and she's really only thinking about what nourishes her spirit and aligns with her mission.
Right.
Because she is on a mission.
Yeah.
I've never seen a lioness that isn't.
Yeah.
She's like, I know who I am now. I know what I deserve. And I'm not going to let myself down again.
Yeah.
And when the shadow, for me, when she shows up, the harmony starts singing out of key.
Oh, yeah.
Out of alignment. And it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So when you're out there trying to be a badass, fighting everybody around you, and it's not coming from a place of clarity and devotion and love, it sounds horrible.
You tone deaf.
Yep. So it happens when you've been fighting for so long and caring so much or protecting things you weren't never even meant to hold. At that point, you go into overdrive. You're hyper mean. You're always tense. You're always bracing for what else is going to go wrong. And in her shadow, the warrior stops listening to her own intuition and starts reacting from survival mode. Think about a lioness when she's starving and she's got to feed her babies. how vicious she can be. She'll kill a human. Usually they're terrified of humans. They don't really do that very often. And they go after other animals. But when they're starving and they're malnourished emotionally, physically, spiritually, you can go into straight beast mode, right?
Yeah.
No fucks.
Yeah. No fucks were
So
given.
when you're that out of rhythm and out of alignment is when she needs to step back and breathe and remember her mission. Remember why you're here. Remember what your goals are and pick your battles more with intention again. Because when the warrior is singing off key, it's not her strength that's the issue. It's because she's exhausted.
Yeah. She's just trying to survive.
And then when she realigns and she remembers her purpose, her higher self comes back into her center. The vibration that she gives off is pure alignment. And it's very protective. It's even more powerful than that chaotic, toxic rage.
Yeah, because it has direction and purpose. Really, the light shadow of it is independence. But underneath that independence, it's fear. So fear of letting someone in, fear of being controlled, fear of losing autonomy, fear of just being, and fear of being disappointed again or relying on anyone, appearing weak, or even being an emotional mess because you're always the one that needs to be seen as strong.
That's usually where depression comes from.
Yep.
You know, because you need that deep rest. You need a break. You need to take 6 weeks in that room. From this is.
Yeah, because at some point she learned that self-reliance feels safer than love because love let her down at one point.
Or at a million different points in her life.
She ran from it like a cheetah, like a lioness.
Yeah.
But if you integrate those things and you become the dark huntress or dark warrior, emotionally, you're deeply intuitive and discerning. You do not tolerate deception. You trust your own instinct over opinions. You're calm under pressure. You see through people instantly. Saudi, I see you do this. You don't require external validation, and you're confident in your solitude, which I have learned.
Oh, yeah. Being alone.
Yeah. Last year and a half. If it's something that scares you, being alone with your own silence, then it's something that you know that you need to work on.
Yep.
I mean, the wounds just come from being taught that people aren't always who they claim to be, or promises can be weapons, or trust can be earned.
Yeah. And we all go through that. We need to evolve past that.
Exactly. Or being forced into self-reliance too young.
Yeah, but the archetypes for that can also, when you're going into the shadow of it, leaning on some of these archetypes or just even researching them. Who do you have for the deities or the goddesses that represent that?
So the Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
She is a baddie. Warrior goddess of battle, shape-shifting, sovereignty. She's connected to ravens and dark feminine power. So that is definitely the first one that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Kali.
I had Kali as the mother, but she could fit this archetype as well.
Yeah.
The warrior spirit.
Yeah. Neith is an Egyptian goddess of hunting, war, and creation. And she was actually one of the earliest Huntress archetypes. An actress that embodies this, I feel like, is Charlize Theron. And she's done movies like Mad Max and Atomic Blonde, and she's just a badass. And Natalie Portman, when she plays V for Vendetta, if you've ever seen that movie, it's one of my favorites. She's a little baddie. Or even characters such as on The Walking Dead, Michonne. She's a sword-wielding warrior. Or Yennefer from The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. She's a baddie.
Yeah, okay. She's sensual, fierce, emotionally guarded. With her shadow integrated, she's a sorceress with a hunter instinct. So she really shows the character arc of what it's like to be the toxic huntress and then to work on the shadow and become the best part of this archetype. So I really love that as an example.
The way that she sounds to me, because since this is a symphony, I really want to talk about the way that she sounds. And she's going to sound differently for everyone. For me, man, she is like a whole primal symphony all on its own. You know, I'm thinking jungle, Aborigine, American Indians, chanting, Africans,
Warrior cry.
warriors, Celtic, just all of it. I can feel it vibrate through every single woman and their primal instincts. I think of Black Panther right before it leaps, that quiet, controlled energy as well. So there's like a little bit of silence mixed in with that.
Yeah. Precision.
A lioness paws going through the grass, and everybody, all the animals around get really quiet and still and hold their breath because they know that she's coming and they can sense it. So you can sense her as well. You know, when you walk into a room and everything's fine and then somebody makes you mad and you instantly feel that anger rise up inside you, or that protective energy when a creep walks by or something.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole room can feel it. Everybody's just kind of like, oh, what happened? Even if they don't know what happened.
Yeah.
They can feel it. So she carries this beat of ancient tribal drums inside of her. I can almost hear that my ancestors chanting my name over drum beats, like Saadi, Saadi, you know? This is my favorite metaphor when it comes to this. She sounds like a mother at 10 centimeters dilated, giving birth. And it's that scream of life that's just ripping through the human flesh and divine spirit because something sacred is being born. And then after that, the sound of a single hot tear falling from her eye when she hears her newborn's cry for the very first time. It's a mixture of pain and victory and surrender hitting all at once. That's a vibration. That's a pulse.
Yeah.
That you can feel and sense and hear.
Yeah.
I hear timelines snapping and chains and curses breaking of all the ancestors around you just clapping.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah. And the universe leaning in like, there she is. So the sound of her whole lineage just stepping forward and saying, we didn't survive all that shit, grandmother after grandmother, dating all the way back for you to collapse now.
Right.
Like, get up.
Yeah.
What are you doing down there? Like, you can't stay down there. It's okay to fall and surrender, but now you have to get back up. You got shit to do. And she does.
Yeah.
Right? So she stands up and she walks away and she chooses herself. And when she does that, her sound becomes a war cry. And it's a liberation and resurrection all at once. So the next one is the lovers. So when we think of the lovers, we think of all those feel-good sensations inside of our body, right? And she doesn't just make us feel good. She makes you feel the most alive in a sensual way as well. I feel like this is very encoded in Hathor energy. It's the goddess of beauty, embodiment, and cosmic self-love. I feel like it's a form of inner glow. Her emotional landscape feels like your whole body melting open from the inside out. And the lover makes you inhale deeper, slower. It's the moments when you drop fully into your body and remember that you're made of pleasure, not just responsibility. To me, she feels like a pulse that rises up inside of your body when you touch your own skin with compassion and not criticism. She's the heat in your womb when you remember that you deserve to be worshipped because you do. You are a goddess. You are a sexual, sensual being. You're a creator of life force energy. You're a portal. And you deserve to be worshipped first by yourself. You need to worship yourself and then by anybody else lucky enough to lay beside you. And that's her magic. So when you feel her, your whole emotional body becomes alchemy.
Yeah.
And self-love becomes a frequency, a vibration that actually changes the rooms that you walk into.
Yeah.
So your sexuality becomes medicine and people feel you without you saying anything.
Yeah.
At all, not a word, because the lover doesn't just open you up. She opens the field around you.
It's that glow.
Yeah, it's that glow up. And her energy pours out of your eyes and your breath and the way you move, your voice, your aura, everything. It's like when you're embodying that lover's archetype, you are unstoppable. You are tantric in motion.
Yeah.
Everything that you do, even when you sweat, is hot.
Yeah.
It's sacred. And she turns your entire emotional world into a sensual vibration and everything around you responds to it. Because isn't that like one of the best parts of being a woman is using your sexual energy? I mean, we've done episodes about sex magic and using your orgasms. And there's something extremely powerful about that. And it's one of our gifts.
Yeah.
When we start embodying her, we really feel authentic.
It's probably why when you end up falling in love, all the men try to flock to you at that moment.
Oh, yeah.
All the people try to bark up your tree.
Well, yeah, it's even in your pheromones and the way you carry yourself, and you're being loved and you're loving yourself. So, yeah, you're basically so authentic. You make other women feel safe.
Yes.
You're so soft and nourished. The way that you're responding to this love vibration, you make other women want to exhale and feel their own divineness when they're with you. It feels really alive.
Yeah.
It's not this slow pulsating energy. It's this spark.
Yeah.
And then it just burns all through your body and your energetic system. It's almost like you're on fire. And it's so passionate, and just the only other word for it is sexual, sensual. That's how you're supposed to feel. You're not supposed to just be surviving on this planet. You're supposed to be thriving. And the easiest and fastest, and I feel like best way to thrive is to love yourself first. And this is one of the biggest forms of self-love. It's a self-love frequency that's so powerful and so embodied and so sensual that it becomes alchemy for everybody else around you. Even though we're using the word sexual, that kind of energy helps heal your children.
Yep.
I mean, that's how they got here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And just not being over sexual, but just embodying that self-love is so powerful. They're like, oh, I see my mom really loving herself.
Yes.
That makes me want to love myself, and she's loving me more.
Yeah.
Or your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you've put every relationships, like you were talking about, like everybody wants you and you got somebody. Maybe don't have somebody for a while like you did. You really embodied self-love and you fell in love with yourself.
Yeah.
And then you were able to meet somebody that matched your energy.
Yeah.
You didn't need them, but it was like, okay, this amplifies everything.
Yeah.
This is fun. This feels like love. When you reach that point of self-love, it's like this energetic climax of self-love. The deeper that you go into the lover, the more you realize her sound isn't just breath or orgasm. She sounds like your womb making a sound. You can imagine that being inside of your own body and feeling what that sounds like. The amniotic fluid and all the nourishment and everything. To me, she sounds like the way your ribs expand when you inhale all the way past your lower stomach and into your yoni. But you can feel that, and it feels like being touched from the inside out. You just take a deep breath and let it go all the way down into your root chakra. And then the vibration that rises up your spine when you feel beautiful and sexy. And not because of how you actually look, but because of how alive you feel.
Yeah.
She sounds like your own breath catching because something sacred just unlocked inside of you. And the way your thighs relax when your nervous system realizes that you're safe in your own presence, everything just softens.
Yeah.
You know, your shoulders relax and your legs relax and your jaw unclenches, and you're just like, wow, I am a woman. I am so sacred. I'm so powerful, and I'm so beautiful. And really loving yourself in that vibration. It's when she steps in, she'll fill your entire energy field with that kind of love. You'll know it because you can hear it in your own voice. You know, even when you're speaking, it feels like you're connected to every inch of your being, like feminine ecstasy in its most spiritual form.
Yeah.
The pleasure of existence moving through a woman who finally lets herself feel everything.
Yeah. So a light shadow through these traits come from wanting love so badly that she abandons herself gently, not in a dramatic, dark way, but in a soft, quiet, pretty way.
Like faking orgasms.
Yep. That is a good way to abandon yourself.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I've done it.
I've done it in the past. I don't do that. You gotta work for that shit. Like over romanticizing people or situations. You fall in love with the potential, confuses chemistry with compatibility. You become overly accommodating to keep the peace.
Oh, yeah. Over accommodating.
Try to be easygoing, but ends up self-silencing.
Oh, yeah. You want to be that cool girlfriend.
Yeah, from Gone Girl. Loves deeply, but forgets to love herself equally, like you were saying. Ignores red flags to tolerate inconsistencies, but seek affection to soothe. But some of the dark shadow expressions, like obsession with the person who hurt her, becoming obsessed with your self-worth tied into that toxic person that's just not meant for you.
Oh, yeah.
Or becoming addicted to toxic relationships, period. Using seduction to control or manipulate, jealousy, envy, or competitive behavior.
Yeah, that over sexualization to where it's like you're really confusing sex with love.
Exactly. Like being really clingy or dependent or possessive even. Trauma bonding or fantasizing about relationships instead of facing reality.
I used to be that girl too. And the guy that I was with loved that shit. He's like, oh, you're a baddie. Oh, this girl just looked at me and I'm the first one to jump out of the car and be like, bitch,
No,
why are you being disrespectful? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to get through me to get to him. Let's go.
Yeah.
Didn't realize how toxic that was. I thought it was hot.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, Daddy knows I love him because I'm willing to fight for him. And I'm looking back on that person that I was and I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But if you didn't go through what you went through, you wouldn't be able to see it now.
Yeah.
From a higher perspective. Yeah.
So I'm grateful for her. But she was crazy.
Yeah.
It was psycho.
Well, yeah, if you go through and heal those, then you gain emotional sovereignty. She doesn't rely on another person to feel worthy or desirable. She is fully on her own. Connection enhances her. It does not complete her.
Right.
She doesn't chase. She doesn't cling. She doesn't manipulate. She doesn't collapse emotionally. She anchors herself.
Yeah, because when we're in that vibration that our partner or whoever we're with, our kids or whatever, is completing us and holding us together, then as soon as they drop the ball or they make a mistake, then your whole world falls apart.
Then you weren't anchored yourself.
People that are in that don't want to hear this, but you have to go back and you have to love yourself.
And we're coming from two people who have been there.
Yeah. And it sucks because you just want to jump to somebody else who's going to fix those parts of you that are shaky or unstable. And then you want to put everything into that person.
Yeah.
Keep repeating the cycle.
Yeah. What do you always say? The universe is a patient teacher.
Oh, yeah. They'll keep sending them.
Yep. It can be magnetic without trying. Her presence is enough. Her energy speaks before opening her mouth. An actress that I feel like embodies this is Rihanna.
Oh, yes.
She speaks on business and people listen. She's confident in who she is. And Megan Fox. And I know she gets a lot of flack because she's super pretty, but I feel like she's used her sexuality to her advantage. And I don't even think it's manipulation. I think she's just like, I know I'm hot as shit.
Right?
Put me in your movie.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think it's empowering the way she's used her sexuality.
That's such a good point. When you're using your divine, sacred, sexual energy to move into rooms that most people can't enter.
Yep.
Fuck it. If you got it, do it. And even if, you're not a supermodel, that doesn't matter. It's the energy.
Yep. A character that embodies this is Catwoman. That character. Yeah, that's a seductress for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which actress plays her.
Yeah.
She represents
I
that.
agree.
Or one of my favorites, Jessica Rabbit.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, she embodies the lover archetype to a T. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on to the queen herself. So, the queen. I love her. I feel like she's misunderstood in a lot of ways within this construct of Mother, Maiden, Crone and the 7 archetypes. But I feel like she's just been through some shit.
Yeah.
She's the part of you that had to earn every inch of your crown.
Yep.
Every single gem, diamond, ruby on that crown, you worked for. Nobody gave you the queen role.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, here's your throne and a silver spoon in your mouth. That's not how she gets here. Yeah. She's the woman who dragged herself out of situations that were designed to break her and shatter her. She's the one that rebuilt her life with nothing but determination and divine stubbornness. Like, you're not going to break me.
No.
And so this archetype comes through you when you've had to cry and dissolve on the floor just to be able to breathe again. I feel like most divine feminine women have been in that situation where they feel shattered. They feel completely broken beyond repair. But you still get back up like a phoenix.
Yeah.
It's very phoenix energy. The queen is the vibration that says, I didn't survive all that just to let somebody walk in and knock me off what I almost died for. You're not going to do that. And it doesn't come from entitlement. She comes from experience. You have to go through some experiences to get to this queen vibration. She comes usually from years of choosing herself when nobody else did, walking away from people who took her for granted, ripping herself out of cycles that she used to think she needed, and grieving. There's grief within that. Grieving people she had to let go of. Forgive people that weren't even sorry.
Been there.
And learning her value the hardest way possible. When you get to this level, the queendom, she stands tall not because she thinks that she's better than anybody else, but because she refuses to lower her standards again. And the queen in you is the master of self-respect. You live through heartbreak, resurrection, and radical and brutal self-honesty and self-inventory because she doesn't blame anybody else. She knows exactly what aligns with her because she's tasted every flavor of everything that didn't. And she knows exactly what she's worth. Her standards aren't unrealistic at all. They're the exact frequency of everything that she's grown into up until this point. The queen doesn't entertain disrespect at all. She's not having that. She's been disrespected and been all through these other vibrations. And she keeps that in the back of her mind. She's like, yeah, I remember when I had to tolerate it. She doesn't negotiate her value at all because she remembers the version of herself who begged to be seen and wasn't.
Yeah.
So now she's seen. Now she's on her throne. Now she's up there.
Yeah.
You know, and you better.
Everybody sees her.
Exactly. And so she doesn't chase because she remembers the exhaustion of trying to prove herself. And she attracts now effortlessly. Like I don't trace, I attract. The full embodiment of that energy. And so this archetype sits on her throne with calmness that says, I built this life from scratch. I climbed out of every dark place. I healed wounds that nobody will ever see. And nothing, absolutely nothing will ever pull me backwards again. And the queen isn't mean or cold-hearted or anything like that. She's just really clear and anchored, and she's done lowering herself. This is a woman who really protects her peace like it's sacred territory, because it is. And she understands that her presence is a privilege. If you have access to my energy, be grateful, period. Because I'm grateful when she resides in that energy of gratitude for everything she's been through and thanks it for the lesson that it gave her, even the pain, even the hard stuff. So she knows that you can't buy your way into her world with half-ass effort or half love or half truths or any of those side hugs. You know, that's not enough for her. Full body, eye contact, full truth, or you're not getting anywhere near her. She'll watch you. Like a jester, but she's not going to welcome you into her energy without full effort.
A light shadow wound from that archetype would be, if you don't stay strong, everything will fall apart. And how it feels internally is, I have to handle this, or I can't let anyone see me slip. I'm the one that everyone depends on, or I can't afford to be weak. A more darker shadow part of that would be, if I don't control everything, I will lose everything. People will betray me if I'm not on guard, or loyalty must be earned through fear instead of it being something that it just is. If there's fear encoded into that, it's toxic. If you have that belief in yourself, then it doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't see you as worthy. You feel like everybody's a threat to my position in some circumstances, or I can't trust anybody to lead but me, and that's ego for sure. But if you integrate that, the Dark Queen integrated power of sovereignty and uncompromising self-respect. She's regal, mysterious, commanding, and emotionally untouchable by anything beneath her standards, like you were saying. The perfect goddess for this one, I feel like, is Hecate. Queen of the crossroads, shadows, magic, and in the underworld. We both work with her. She is definitely the queen.
And she's a triple goddess too. So
She's actually the mother, the maiden, the crone. Those 3 archetypes are built into her persona.
Right.
And so she already embodies 3 of the 7 right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, we all embody all 7 and then more. But I'm saying like she's already represented by the 3.
Yep.
Persephone, when she goes to the underworld,
Yep.
she becomes the queen of the underworld, and she learns how to transfer from the maiden to the queen very quickly.
Queen of the underworld.
Kate Blanchett is a great example of this. When she was in Lord of the Rings, she played that strong queen. It's funny because in Lord of the Rings, she played the light fairy queen of the woods, right? And she was all in white. And there was a scene in that movie where she gets tempted by the ring and she turns into this dark goddess and she's like, I will rule over all.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's such a perfect example of how you integrating the shadow. In Thor, she played the sister, right? And she's evil in that. So she plays this powerful queen on both sides of the spectrum. And I think it's beautiful to use her as an example in those 2 movies because it shows how toxic this archetype could be if you don't do the work to integrate the shadow back into yourself and thrive and be that beautiful queen that you are. I guess Maleficent would be another one.
Yeah.
I mean, from the originals, you think she's this evil queen. And then from the movies, you get to see a different side of it, of where she's actually really misunderstood and she's got all these wounds and you feel for her, but she still had wounds that she needed to work on. She got her wings ripped away. She had her kingdom taken away. There's a reason why she became the villain, but we don't have to be villains. We can learn and grow and heal.
Yes.
And then live in our own castle.
Exactly. Okay, you guys, now we're on number 6. So the mystic or the sage, that's the next one. So the mystic is the part of you that just knows.
Feel it in your bones.
You just feel it. Not because you studied it or because someone taught you about it, but it's because your soul has always been tuned into something that other people can't really see or feel or resonate with, right? She's the woman in you that doesn't need proof. You don't have to play Nancy Drew and be a detective and follow people around. It's like, I have a feeling and I know, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say or what you tell me. I trust my intuition and my own inner compass and my own guidance. So I don't need to prove it
Yeah.
to you or to myself. You don't need proof or permission to trust what you feel because you just know it. And you might not always know how you know it, but you know. And that's enough.
Yeah.
She's your inner priestess. She's intuition. She's the channel. Your spirit team and your higher self are all working together like one big cosmic heartbeat. And what makes her really powerful is that she doesn't wake up only in the hard times. She wakes up when you're aligned. It doesn't have to come from pain or from any outside influence. She just is. She's just inside of you, so close sometimes that you can't feel the difference in her vibration until you're getting downloads or messages. Something appears out of it, feels like thin air, and you just know something that you shouldn't know. It's almost like she whispers in your ear.
Yeah.
When you meditate, when you breathe, when you're still and relaxed, or when you're just living your best life and staying open, you're like, okay, universe, I'm open to whatever messages you have. And then bam, 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 bam. They're just like coming through at you like crazy. That's when she shows up the strongest. It could be ordinary things too. You could be washing your dishes or doing your makeup or driving to the store. And then all of a sudden you just know something. You're like, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
That's her. Or a message drops in or a face pops into your mind and this feeling hits you out of nowhere. Truth reveals itself because you can't hide anything from spirit. You can't hide anything from this mystic entity. She's that steady part of you that's always been connected to the higher realms your whole life. Whether you ignore her or not ignore her, she's always within you. She's so close to you, and she's usually there at all times. And then we can decide to turn her voice down or turn her voice up. It's a frequency, but she's always there.
Are you tuned in?
Yeah. She's the one who can sit in a room all by herself and still feel surrounded. Alone but never lonely energy. She's surrounded by her ancestors and guides and deities and spirit team and higher self and all of that. And she's the vibration inside of you that's already operating in the 4th, 5th, 6th dimension energy. So even though you look completely human on the outside, you're not. You're not just human. You are so much more than that. Vibration echoes through dimensions. She's your clarity and your connection to every single realm that you've ever been through in any lifetime.
Yeah.
That's always with you. When she steps forward, you don't really like, oh my God, I'm a psychic. Like, you don't feel like that energy. You just feel like yourself.
Yeah.
The landscape of her is so beautiful. It's like your first language. Your connection with her is speaking your first language.
Yeah.
It's like when your chest tightens up, you have your own divine way that your body resonates with energy and the messages of the mystic. Say your chest gets tight out of nowhere, right? That could be your spirit saying, okay, we need to set some boundaries. Yeah, there's something going on with you. And so you're so in tune with your body that you're like, oh, this feeling is spirit or my own mystic trying to alarm and warn me that something's going on in my energetic field and I need to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like maybe I need to set some boundaries, or if your skin starts vibrating or getting chills, that could be a message that the higher self is trying to get your attention. Or if your stomach drops and you just feel sick to your stomach out of nowhere, that could be time for you to tune in. Something isn't right.
Right.
You can feel it in your body. You always say feel it in your bones.
Yeah.
But it's like you can feel it everywhere. Or if you just randomly get excited, you're like, I don't know why I have so much energy. I just feel great. I didn't even have my coffee today. It's time to tap into those downloads because they're coming at you. That's why you're feeling them and you're getting excited and you don't even know why. So you have to stop what you're doing and tap into that mystic part of yourself. And you're not guessing at that point. She's aligning with a frequency, and it's your internal navigation system. That's your GPS. All of that shows up with purpose. Every feeling carries information. Every sensation that you have is guidance, and every shift in her body is a conversation with the mystic, the unseen. It's easy for her to pick up on the energy in the room, the intention beneath people's actual actions, because it's not about what they say. It's about the way they make you feel. And you need to trust that.
Yeah.
They could be like, hey, girl, I love you. What's up? I miss you. We need to get together. And you feel sick to your stomach, or you can feel yourself taking a couple steps backwards. Really tune into that, because that's the mystic trying to come through. She's trying to tell you something ain't right.
Yeah.
You can easily decode messages that Spirit's sending, and she feels the pull of the timeline that she's stepping into. So you can even use this energy to upgrade your timeline. So it goes so deep into what her vibration can do for you. Her intuition and her emotions, and this is the crazy part, they work as one system. So it's your intuition and your emotions. They're not separate. They're a part of the same currency, and they're intertwined with each other, and they work together. She doesn't need to wait for explanation. She doesn't need someone to spell out their intentions. She's all about dreams and synchronicities. They surround her like code, and messages land when she's not even asking, because her ancestors step in and she's already plugged into all of that. You're in the World Wide Web. Your computer's on.
Yeah.
You're tapped into all of it. The mystic's emotional landscape is just so layered and sacred and multidimensional. She's an oracle.
Yeah.
When she's activated inside of you, she becomes your living compass. And nobody can get shit past you. You can't even get shit over on yourself. No, she won't let you.
Yeah.
So once you embody that, it's a really powerful tool to have. So the mystic also gives you gifts. One of the biggest gifts is the way that she can walk into a space and instantly read the energy before anyone even says anything. And she just automatically knows when somebody's good for her or not. In seconds, and she's almost never wrong, because her intuition doesn't operate from fear, it operates from truth, and truth doesn't hide anything. It's open. She gives you that gift of inner knowing and really being able to trust yourself and trust your intuition. The more that you work with this kind of archetype and integrate her into yourself, you'll be able to read people, energy, timelines, auras, emotions, spiritual attachments, karmic patterns, and past life echoes, and ancestral wounds easily. And so the more you tap into that, the stronger you get with all of these things.
Breaking generational curses.
Yeah. So now I want to talk real quick about the way that she feels. To me, she feels like electricity. The static right before a download hits, or you'll get ringing in your ears, or the buzzing in your third eye or in your forehead when you're receiving downloads or information. I feel her is more of a vibration. Like when we're doing tarot cards or you're using divination in any kind of way, or you're about to do a ritual and you're calling in your guides and your deities and the goddesses, and you can almost feel them enter the room. And it feels like static electricity.
Yeah.
Or the room gets easier to breathe or harder to breathe. Air can get thick or lighter, depending on what's going on. I feel like that's the mystic energy coming through. Also because the physical body feels her. I feel like it's chills when somebody says something or you think something and your entire body gets goosebumps.
Yeah, it gets the confirmation.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like that's how she sounds. She's like a vibration of just knowing.
Yeah.
If that has a sound.
So a light shadow for this, for being the sage archetype, would be using knowledge to avoid vulnerability or hiding emotions behind intellect. So pretending that you know what a tarot card means.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want it to not look as wise as you're trying to portray yourself to be. And that's ego. It gives advice, but struggles to be open themselves. So thinking you're the most wisest person in the room,
Yeah.
that's ego. Appears calm and collected, but you're quietly disconnected. Same thing, reaching at people to do certain things when you yourself isn't feeling it. Overthinks instead of feeling. A darker shadow aspect of this would be being condescending or cynical, uses intellect or wisdom to dominate people or belittle them, believes she's above others.
Oh, yeah. When people are like so spiritual, they're like, I'm so woke.
Yeah. They're like, oh, everything's just aligning for me. But you also know that their life's falling apart. And you're like, are we talking to the same person? It's okay to have your life fall apart and to feel good about certain parts of it, but to use it as a camouflage. I think my biggest lesson over this last year, I've learned that just because somebody is spiritual does not mean they're not human, and does not mean that therefore are forfeited from being imperfect and maybe having some serious flaws, to the point where just because you're spiritual doesn't mean I need to let you into my circle.
Yeah.
So once you've integrated that, she's still intense, but her intensity is clear, grounded, and purposeful. Her presence feels like a quiet storm, powerful, steady, and undeniable. Nothing is performed. She is authentic. She looks like a woman that has seen everything and learned from it. And that's the big part, is learning, because none of us have learned it all yet. That's my mantra. Keep your mind open.
Yeah, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know shit.
Yeah.
But I do trust my instincts.
Absolutely.
That part never lies to me.
A good goddess that resonates with this archetype is Athena, because she's the goddess of wisdom. Maat, M-A-A-T, she's an Egyptian goddess, and she's the goddess of truth, balance, and justice. So she's resonates with the archetype of sage.
I'm going to say one more archetype that reminds me of this, and this is the goddess Sophia, because she embodies wisdom. She is pure divine feminine intelligence. She's the voice of truth and the frequency of knowing. She's known to be universal consciousness in feminine form. She's the embodiment of I just know.
Meryl Streep is a celebrity that really embodies the sage archetype. She's a powerhouse, and she's elegant and calm and analytical, and a lot of celebs that are out now look up to her.
Yeah.
Emma Watson, and I know she's a little bit young, but if you've ever watched one of her interviews, she's very intellectual and very smart. It's intellect, but it's also spiritually knowing. And I feel like she's got a good head on both.
Yeah.
So characters. Aunt May would be a good one from Spider-Man, because she's the one that said to Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Yeah, and she's more intellectual, but she's also a wizard, so.
Exactly. We're moving on to the crone. Number 7, a common misconception about the crone. And I'm even going to admit that I have judged this one. I was like, I don't want to be in my crone. I think of her as an old lady, like a hag almost.
Yep.
I'm going to admit that I have thought that. And the crone doesn't show up because you're old. Okay, so we're just gonna completely blow your mind on this one of what she truly is. She steps in at very specific moments in your life where your soul has outgrown something. It's outgrown the bullshit, and your spirit refuses to entertain these forms of energy that you used to tolerate. You can be 23, 33, 73. Age has nothing to do with it, just to make that clear. When you've lived enough to recognize, usually in your adult years, the crone can come through when you're a teenager, but she's faint in that aspect. It's usually when you've lived enough to recognize repeating patterns. You've learned to trust your intuition without arguing anymore, and you stop second guessing yourself. So she usually appears in the seasons of your life where you stop repeating lessons and start embodying them. You've already been through enough cycles to know exactly what you will and won't tolerate. It's where you have clarity that hits you so hard you can't even pretend that you didn't see it anymore. Because we can do that sometimes, I didn't see that. Like you were talking about earlier, that ignoring the red flags or, whatever. You're like,
I'll just paint my
that's
nails
just a
red.
mistake. Yeah, it's fine. Like you have these blinders and they come off and there's no more second guessing yourself. It's like, oh, maybe he'll change, or maybe he's not really cheating. Maybe that's my imagination, or maybe this job is actually good for me. Maybe I should just stick it out a little bit longer kind of energy. And so the crone does not play with that at all. She's already too grown for that.
Yeah.
When you really start thinking about your boundaries and what's non-negotiable, that's when you can feel the crone coming through, because you're starting to think, I wonder where my limits are.
Yeah.
I wonder where my boundaries are.
I think for me, it comes through when I have usually younger people, because life experience does hand you wisdom, come through and ask for advice. And then I'm just like, oh, I've been there. Don't do that. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's part of her vibration coming through you as well.
Yeah.
This is my line. And if you can't respect that, and okay, no problem. You don't even care. You're just like, okay, cool. You can remove yourself, or I'll remove myself from the situation. And you realize that the way you start reflecting, holy shit, every single time that I was mistreated and this relationship was horrible, or whatever the job or whatever the situation is, you get this realization that it was your fault.
Yeah.
It was your fault. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't blame it on anybody else but myself at this point. And you realize that the way that you were treated was the direct reflection of your non-negotiables within yourself. So you don't second guess it at all anymore. You might have used to have been in the vibration of, oh, I don't want to be a bad girlfriend or a bad wife or a mother, so I'll just keep letting them cross my boundaries over and over again so that they'll love me more, or so I don't feel like a nag, or I don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that bad mom or the bitchy girlfriend. So, or you start to think that your standards are too high. Oh, that's not true.
No.
When you're in the crone phase,
Yeah.
you're not even playing those mind games with yourself anymore, right? So you stop entertaining people who drain you, because your soul has been through so much. It's literally done with low frequency. Just done. No explanation. It's just like, no. You're not even impressed anymore by their potential.
Right. Right.
Oh my God. He had so much potential, or she had so much potential. You don't even fucking entertain that thought anymore. You're like,
it is
what?
ridiculous when you
I
think
don't
of
have
it.
the patience for that anymore. I'm in my crone. Your spirit is so evolved. Yeah, it's too evolved, actually, to keep trying to fix connections that your intuition already closed.
Yeah.
It's like trying to build a bridge that you already burned. You're not doing that. And you don't need validation anymore, right? To make the decision that your soul already made. You enter a life phase where peace is way more important than proving anything to anybody. And right here is where she really shows up in your life. That's when you know it's her.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the other day, somebody said, well, that's my problem and everybody has their problems. And I was like, I don't. And not to sound like I don't have anything going on in my life. It's not because life is perfect for me, but it's because I don't call them problems anymore.
Right.
I have this different spin on it. I've learned patterns and I've learned a lot of lessons. I don't really react or freak out anymore like I used to. I don't spiral or even take things personally, because if you don't like me, that's not my problem. The way you feel about me is none of my business.
Right.
It really, truly isn't. I'm just more in the vibration of, what is this teaching me?
Right.
Why is this showing up in my life? Oh, I see a pattern, something showing up over and over and over again. Instead of having a meltdown about it, I'm like, oh, I need to learn this real quick, because it's a life lesson that I need to know, or it wouldn't be here.
Right.
The crone energy is a spiritual maturity, and she can come when you're 20, 19. It doesn't have an age on it. It's literally where you're so mature. It's the ending of victimhood. Right? You're not the victim anymore. And these moments and thresholds are what activate the crone energy within you. She's the truth of your soul when it's matured to a level that you're unapologetically you. And she's the energy that comes in when you stop learning the hard way and start living the aligned way. You're so over it.
Right.
You're like, my life has been hard enough. I'm not doing that shit anymore. If I'm not vibing in this conversation and you're still talking, I will walk away mid-sentence and not give two fucks about it.
Right.
You know? It's like every time you walk away without being dramatic, or every time you let go without needing closure, because that's a big thing, right? Like, I always wanted closure.
Oh.
I remember saying that.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn that I am the closure.
Right.
I have been in phases of my life where I was just like, all I need is some closure on this. But when you're in the crone stage of your life, you don't need closure at all. You don't care. You walk away, literally, like I said, mid-sentence.
Right.
Mid-relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, not mid-orgasm, but
I'm going to finish
right after.
Yeah.
You don't need to be understood anymore. Feeling that need to over-explain yourself to be content. You know, somebody says something, you're like, okay, if that's what you want to think, bye.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit there for an hour and try to make you see it from my perspective. I don't care enough to do that anymore. I don't got the energy for it.
I'm done leading horses to water.
Yeah, I'm done. I could sit here and explain it for an hour, and you still are going to have your own perception of me. So I'm just wasting my breath and my energy. I'm going to go do a ritual.
Yep.
I'm going to go take a spiritual bath.
Yeah.
I'm going to go have sex. I have better things to do than worry about explaining myself.
Yeah. And some people just need to make you the villain in their story so that they feel better about their actions.
And even if it's not with anybody else, it's with myself. Validating my own self. Like, yeah, you know, I did this because of that. I don't even have those conversations with myself anymore. I'm just like, yeah, I did it. You know, if there was a lesson in it, cool, I'm going to learn it. A crone isn't about an age. She's about evolution. And it's so cool, because you realize that you're operating from a soul level wisdom instead of human level fear at that point. So she's the last archetype, because she's the version of you who has finally integrated every lesson and every initiation. When the crone steps into your life, she hands you gifts that change literally everything. The first gift that she gives you is recognition. That's the moment that you look at your own reflection and think, I'm not her anymore. I'm not who I was 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 5 years ago. That version of you doesn't even exist now. It's the gift of realizing that you've outgrown every old version of yourself. And that's really powerful.
It is.
To feel that way. And the crone hands you the clarity like a crown. She's crowning you, and she's like, go ahead and reintroduce yourself to the world. She gives you discernment, so you stop explaining and convincing and negotiating with energies that don't match yours. She gives you a lot of peace.
Yeah.
There is so much peace in letting all that drama go. Oh my God, if you guys haven't felt it yet and you finally do, it's such a relief. And so, you know, when I was saying there's no age on it, but sometimes you look at these elderly people out there and they just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like they could care less what you think about them.
Yeah.
And it's so
liberating.
Yes. To feel that. You don't know how heavy something is sometimes until you put it down.
Yeah.
And then you put it down, you're like, wow, I could run a marathon now. I didn't know that was so heavy. I was carrying a lot. And then she gives you the one gift that terrifies most people, permission. Our own insecurities and fear and anxiety, that energy doesn't give us permission.
Yeah.
To change. We feel like we have to be a certain way. And you can change the way you look. You can change the way you talk. You can change your career, your relationship, your boundaries. You're allowed to switch your boundaries at any time. I don't care if you've been with somebody for 40 years. You can say, hey, I'm reevaluating our relationship and I'm renegotiating the boundaries.
Yeah.
Because you're not the same person that you were when you got married or when you first got into that relationship. You can do this every 6 months if you want to.
Yeah.
You can do it every other day. I don't care. Like you have that power. You have permission to do that. You can change your entire identity. If that identity doesn't fit the soul that you are now, change your name, move to a different country. You have permission to do that now. There's nothing holding you back when you really embody that crone energy. And you have permission to evolve so drastically that people from your past wouldn't even recognize the woman you've become. And so she gives you this holy detachment is the only way that I can describe it. And it's not because you're this crotchety old lady, but it's because you finally know what you deserve.
Yeah.
And you stand on that. I feel like her sound, it's the vibration that comes from a woman who has lived long enough and loved hard enough and lost enough and learned enough, because the crone sounds like the closing act. I imagine it as when you're in an opera, the opera ends, and it's like, it's not over until the
Fat lady sings.
fat lady sings. The last woman standing on stage, and she opens up her mouth and she lets out one beautiful, vital note that just shakes everybody's soul inside that room. That's what I feel like she sounds like, because she's like, all right, everybody, show's over. Not only that, but I feel like her sound is the last page of a book closing.
Yeah.
Or the breath you take when you finally understand something. And the softest no that carries the most power. Because you're no longer screaming it or explaining it. It's not from irritation. It's just no.
In the light shadow work of a crone archetype, it could be feeling too detached or too isolated, overly neutral or passive, or more of an observer than a participant. You're going into hermit mode to retreat rather than to work on yourself. The dark shadow crone is bitter wisdom. She knows a lot, but she uses her knowledge to justify her hopelessness. Hyper independence, so this can go into this one as well, where she's like, I don't need anyone ever. And it's more of a defense mechanism.
Then it's a hag energy where you're just like super pissed off at the world.
Yeah. Or become cold, distant, and emotionally unavailable, retreating. But if you integrate that and become the dark crone, you become that mystical elder, the woman who has crossed thresholds and faced death, like you were saying, has that forbidden knowledge about her. She's an archetype with a deep intuition. She's worked on her shadow magic, and she's got the mysteries of endings and rebirths. So you become powerful and prophetic and fierce and unafraid of darkness, and you come to understand it intimately, and you overcome those wounds of isolation.
Yes. There was Kali, and even though Kali is often shown as a mother or a maiden, her crone aspect is pure destruction of the outdated self. She ends things that needed to be closed. She strips you of illusions and returns you to the truth. So she could be a powerful triple goddess within that construct as well.
For celebrities, Helena Bonham Carter, who is one of my favorite actresses, really embodies the crone. Like, she does not give a fuck. She'll dress how she wants, she'll talk how she wants, and she doesn't care how she comes off, and I adore her. And then I would say Miss Peregrine and the Miss Peregrine's Home of Peculiar Children, if you've ever seen that movie. So she plays their teacher, and she does play the motherly role, but I could see how she could fit in with the crone because she's got a lot of knowledge of everything and how everything works. Like, she turns time back every day. So she knows what's going to happen. Lastly, the Oracle from the Matrix.
There is no spoon.
Exactly.
As we're coming to a close with this episode, I really thought that it was important to bring in all of them into one space. The symphony of her is the goddess code, when they're all in harmony with each other, resonating and vibrating and pulsating through your human form. And that sound, frequency, and vibration that rises up when all seven stand together inside of you. That is the goddess code. When you finally break through the matrix and you remember exactly who you are and exactly what you came here to do, activation at full 100% capacity. It's when your entire being realizes the divinity that you've been searching for was never outside of you. It was living inside of you the entire time. You just had to awaken different facets in different ways. It's when you feel the divine in your mind, in your heart, in your intuition, in your cosmic memory, and they're all waking up and coming back online at the same time. It's when you can look at another woman and see her godhood just as clearly as you can see your own. It's at that point where you feel energy in every single layer of your being, like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, universally. It's when you return to yourself so completely and so unapologetically that the universe shifts to meet the power that you're radiating from. This symphony is a sound of a woman who remembers she is divine, not someday or when she's healed enough or when she's perfect enough. It's right now, in this breath, in this life, in this moment. Every divine, beautiful goddess that is listening to my voice right now, this is the code. This is the remembering. This is the sound of you coming back into your full power and the whole universe rising in recognition of that. You are the symphony.
Yeah.
Omni, you're the symphony.
Sadi, you're the symphony.
Thank you. You're the awakening. You're the divine returning back home to herself. And so before we close, I just want you to remember this. You are the spell and you are the ritual. You're the living, breathing frequency that makes up one of the sacred chords in the entire body of the divine feminine across all dimensions. Every day of your life, you are embodying these archetypes, even if you don't realize it. When you brush your teeth, you're taking care of your vessel like a mother. And when you're cooking dinner, you're creating like the lover and providing like the queen. And when you say no, you're holding the warrior within you. And you're staying firm on that with no explanation behind it. Even when you wake up and you stretch in the morning and you take that first breath, your DNA is aligning with the same cosmic frequencies that the goddesses themselves rise from every morning. And when you love somebody with everything that you have and you love yourself like that, or you protect your kids, or you stand up for yourself, or just follow your intuition, or speak your truth, or surrender to your growth, you're activating every archetype within you all at once. You are made of all of them. Just like the earth, you're in constant motion and expanding and evolving. And as you grow, your consciousness is growing too. And when you heal, your lineage heals. And whenever you raise your frequency, the universe rises with you with that same kind of energy. As within, so without. As above, so below. Because if you look at the universe itself is ever growing and expanding through you, with you, as you. I just want you guys to remember you're not separate from the divine. You are the divine. You are the symphony. You're the living goddess in human form.
I love that. We just want to give thanks to all of our listeners. We are hopeful to do a mirror episode of this, of the 7 archetypes of the divine masculine. And that will happen in divine timing when we can have a man come on and give us his point of view on the subject. So stay tuned. And as always, remember to keep your minds open.
Namaste.